So, I'm going to be talking about something today that hits very close to home just because it's so real for me and it's such a reality for women and girls that look like me. And I'm speaking specifically about black women on this video. I do understand that this situation pertains to many different kinds of people, but I'm specifically talking about black women and the lack of media coverage that we're getting for turning up missing or dead. I was reading several articles over the last few days, and you know, they were kind of old. Some of them were from like February. One article said that there were 64,000 missing black girls. Another article said that there were 75,000 missing black girls. And from February to November, I don't even want to know how many girls are missing now. And nobody's fucking talking about it. Nobody is talking about it. When I hear about these stories, it's always on Twitter. We are responsible for sharing our own news, which is great for like us being able to know about it, but what about other people? This is really scary. There was a girl on my timeline recently who was talking about a situation where she almost literally got kidnapped, and you know, she was in a lift, and I'll let her tell it.
Really don't really be going live like this, but it is early in the morning. I was on my way to work. I dropped my baby girl off at school. My car started acting up, so her dad told me to catch a lift and leave my car there, and he would fix it for me. So I called the lift, got in the car with the lift, noticed that they were taking all these different turns, no major streets, was not following the GPS that they were supposed to be following. So I asked the guy, I said, why are you making all these turns? You know, this is not the way to my job. And he wouldn't answer me. He kept on just driving. So I'm noticing that I'm going down these different sidewalks, these neighborhoods. I'm so nervous. Like, I can't even really talk. So I'm asking the guy, like, why are you turning here? This is not the way to my job. So he kept telling me to be quiet, like, hold on, I know what I'm doing. So he pulls up behind this other car, like a big truck. I don't even know what it was. So I'm like, just nervous because I'm on the phone the whole time and I wasn't paying attention the whole while that he was making all these turns. So I asked him, why don't you go around this truck? Why you just sitting behind this truck like this? I have to get to work. And then he wouldn't answer me. So a black guy got out of the truck. He had braids in his head and everything, and he started opening the gates to this warehouse or whatever it was, and was telling the car that I was in, the Lyft driver, to back into the warehouse or whatever. So I'm like, what are you doing? You know, like, this not the way that you're supposed to be going to my job. So I'm telling y'all to be safe out here. I had to get out the car and run. I was in a Lyft. I have all his information and everything. I was riding in a Lyft car trying to get to work because my car was acting funny. I called the police and everything. I'm still waiting on the police. I'm safe. I'm waiting at a gas station. I'm just saying, be safe so y'all can share this video. I'm in Houston, Texas. I was on Richmond and Dunvale, and it's real out here.
So yeah, as you can see, the girl got away. A lot of situations happen where, you know, the girls don't ever see their families ever again. It's a very, you know, terrifying epidemic, and it's going on with all black women and girls, cis women, trans women. Like, there's an attack on like women, black women, like everyone. I mean, we are the most disrespected. Malcolm X said it best. We are the most disrespected person in the world. However, you would think in 2019 there wouldn't be such a disdain for black women, but there still is. And there's still an over-sexualization of black women. Human trafficking is some real shit. And that's honestly one of my greatest fears. I have, living in this society has kind of nurtured some fears in me. Has instilled some fears in me. And it's sad to say, because I really, you know, you should be fearless, because there's nothing to be afraid of at the end of the day, and that's from a spiritual standpoint. However, it's very real that women are being kidnapped and being sold into sex trafficking, and if you read up on the Jezebels, like the Jezebel character or stereotype, it really just kind of lays the foundation of where all this started, as far as the hate and the over sexualization of black women. When I read up on that Jezebel stereotype, I was disgusted. It was really disturbing. Yeah, reading up on that, it was really disturbing. And so when you read up on that, and you read about Sarah Bartman and how they basically objectify black women specifically more, and then you tie it with us being missing and no one caring and us being sold as sex slaves, like that honestly is like, it's a nightmare. That is a nightmare. Like, and I really pray and I shed tears for all the missing black women who never made it home. I saw a post on my Twitter about a girl named Alexis Janae Crawford who went missing on October 30th. She's only 21 years old, and apparently she had spoke out. This was right after she spoke out about sexual assault. And then a little over a week later, she was found dead on November the 8th. I don't want to go into detail about, how she was found, but that's yet another, case of a black girl going missing and not making it home, and there being little to no media coverage. They're not finding us alive. Our chances of surviving after being kidnapped are slim to none. And that's why I love a story. I love a story where the girl gets away. There was a story back then where the stupid ass kidnapper left the girl with her phone, and she basically texted her boyfriend and told him that she was being kidnapped, and dropped the location, and they found him, and she was saved. So that's cool. But 9 times out of 10, when you get kidnapped, the first thing they're going to take is your phone. And there are a lot of tips that you can use to try to avoid getting kidnapped. But the reality is, it's happening, and a lot of people can't fight for themselves or defend themselves. They don't have time to, because they're so in shock, trying to process, is this really happening to me right now? And they end up getting took, and you don't see or hear from them ever again. I've watched a lot of cinematic depictions of women getting kidnapped and sold into human trafficking, and it almost always ends with the girls never getting away. Of course, there was a movie that I did see where the girls did get away, but they took a group of girls with them, on their escape, and the one girl that didn't make it was black. So it was just like, damn. Well, even in the depictions, even in the cinematic depictions, y'all make sure that y'all know that the black girl is most likely going to always be left behind. And it just goes to show people do not give a fuck about black girls. There's a TED Talk video that features a spoken word poet by the name of Alexandria Ellison, and she discusses, she verbally illustrates a time where she almost got kidnapped and she had to run for her life. I'm gonna let you guys check it out right now.
We made eye contact as he cracked a smile, pulling up to the sidewalk beside me. Flash. This man was not asking for directions. Flash, why is he getting so close? Flash, run. I ran, not because I was afraid to end up on the back of a milk carton. I ran because I knew that this brown skin, nothing close to Aryan, would ensure that this brown face would never make it on the back of a carton of dairy. I was afraid as the night sky became airy, but there was no air left for me to breathe in. Shaken by apprehension, aware of the sexual invitation, filled with indignation, ready to swing with no hesitation, picked up the pace with deeper inhalations, run. Before I end up like Teresa Bunn, 21, black. She was seen last in November, but perhaps you can't remember because the media decided to ignore her disappearance. 10 years later, her mother is left to implore to the nation to help find the one she adores. 33% of all missing children are black. But where the public falls flat is that these missing kids are only exposed in the media at a rate of 19%. I think I get the hint. Her body was found strangled and burned and left in a garbage bin. Being black and women identified must be a sin. It has been inked in our skin since Sarah Bartman. I'm also talking about black trans women who are existing in a state of emergency. The life expectancy of a black trans woman is barely above 30. I thought this was America. Where the hell are we? A place where 46,000 black women are missing. Their names have dropped out of our mouths and sunken into the soil in hopes that they will grow into baobab trees. Maybe God will set their souls free and release them into the breeze. As I ran away from Summer Street, I must have found 46,000 souls fleeing when a breeze kissed my cheek. Home safe in a friend's embrace. I mentioned it to my mom on the phone the next day. Hi, Mommy. I just wanted to call to say, I walked home by myself last night and I didn't feel safe. It got to the point where I had to pick up the pace and run away. Thank you, Mom, for the phone calls and the texts. I know when I was 15 and 17, I wasn't the best. I wanted to grow up, and now I realize all you wanted from me was a chance to grow up. I shouldn't have taken that for granted. I understand why you've been so panicked. Although the world can be cold, I've always had your hand to hold, so thank you, Mom. I hope that every black woman and girl will find a hand to hold, even during dark nights when the air is cold. Even when her shadow feels alone, she will have someone to strengthen her might, someone who won't give up this fight. Thank you.
So this video, if you look at the views, there's only a few thousand views. But if you look at the other TED Talk videos, other TED Talk videos have hundreds of thousands of views. And it's just like, it's not a mystery as to why that is. Nobody gives a fuck about black women. And honestly, the only people we have is each other. We only have each other, which means we don't have time to be tearing each other down, making everything a competition, trying to take each other's man, trying to one-up each other. We don't have time for none of that. Fighting each other, that shit, we don't have time for none of that. We are all we have, because literally no one is going to protect us. We have to protect ourselves. And you know what? These women are probably turning up dead because they tried to escape. There was a post on Instagram that basically discussed like what rapists think. And they basically don't want anybody that's going to put up a fight. They want an easy target. And so, yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you fight back, they're less likely to find you as useless, right? However, if they already have you in captivity and you fight back, they're not going to just let you go like they would if they was running up on you in the street. You know what I'm saying? If somebody runs up to you in the street and you put up a fight, they're probably going to just run away, right? But if you are in captivity already and you put up a fight and they have no use for you, they're going to kill you. The way that this world is set up is probably 10 times worse than the way I'm describing it. Especially with us not really having that much representation. No one is telling the story of how it really goes for women who are kidnapped. So, of course, I'm thinking the worst. Why not assume the worst? They've always given us the worst, you know what I'm saying? Black women are always demonized, antagonized, harshly criticized, overanalyzed. Black women are gaslighted. Black women are told that we are not enough. Black women are told that we do not matter. Black women are told that we're not pretty enough, that we need to do this, this, and this, and this, and this to exist as someone who could ever be, deemed attractive. Everyone is trying their damned hardest to destroy black women. So, of course, we are a target for human trafficking, because everybody knows that nobody gives a fuck about black women. So they are an easy target. They can take us and nobody's going to turn up a note. Not going to, and nobody's going to, it's going to be very low key, under the radar. No one's going to catch on. No one cares to catch on. If they started kidnapping hella white women to use for sex trafficking, then people would be an uproar. It would be an uproar. And I'm not saying white women don't get kidnapped. Usually, if somebody comes from a good home and she gets kidnapped and she's white, those parents are going to make sure that makes headlines. So many black girls are getting kidnapped and nobody is talking about it. That's my whole point. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to white women. They talk about it when it happens to y'all. It's happening to black women, and it's not in no media coverage whatsoever. I had to look up articles of missing black women. I googled missing black women, and articles of why no one's talking about it came up. So that should tell you something right there. I'm about to read an article that I recently discovered on this Charleston Chronicle. It's called "The List of Missing Black Girls Continues to Grow." This article is written by Stacey M. Brown. She's an NNPA Newswire correspondent. Her @ is Stacey Brown Media. The article reads, type the name Tawny Reid in the Google search engine and click on news. In doing so, one will find among the results an obscure 1960s Welsh singer named Tawny Reid, and even a headline from the Telegraph newspaper in the United Kingdom that reads, "The beautiful Turkish wonder you've probably never heard of." What you won't find is Tawny Reid, the missing 14-year-old black girl from Reno, Nevada, who was last seen on May 1st. It's a recurring theme. An African-American female goes missing and there's no radar too low that she won't fly beneath. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC, said the number of reports of missing children made to law enforcement in the United States now totals more than 424,000. Tawny stands 5 feet tall and weighs 130 pounds, and authorities haven't described what she was doing at the time of her disappearance or what she may have been wearing. Less than 2 weeks before Tawny disappeared, Anissa Reid also is missing in Reno. Anissa, no reported relation to Tawny, is 16, and authorities said she's 5 feet and 4 inches tall and weighs 110 pounds. She was last seen on April 26th. Across the state in Las Vegas, Ashante Jones, 17, also disappeared. The 5 feet and 11 inches tall Ashante reportedly weighs about 135 pounds. Like Tawny, Anissa, and Ashante, a Google search of Keasia Hayes Prater yields nothing about the missing black teens in the news section. The 13-year-old, who's listed as 5 feet tall and 148 pounds, disappeared on May 3rd in Columbus, Ohio. Authorities believe she may still be in the local area, but they're unsure of what may have happened to her. The alarming number of black missing females accounts for a large chunk of disappearances nationwide. Yet, as the crisis continues, media attention remains largely diverted. "I worked in Texas as a news anchor, and the statistics there are shocking," said Liz Janae, an Emmy-nominated former TV news anchor who once hosted a public affairs show called In Focus in Texas. Janae, who now works as a vice president of marketing for Favorable.com, says she believes some girls have fallen victim to human trafficking. I interviewed professionals from the University of Texas at Austin about how there were an estimated 79,000 child sex trafficking victims in Texas alone, Janae said. Houston is known to be a hub for trafficking and is unfortunately where black women and girls are roped into the trade, she says. It's really quite prophetic that so many African Americans have gone missing and are forgotten by society, said Phyllis G. Williams, the co-host of Living Principles Onward. Of course, they will never be forgotten by their friends and loved ones. Malcolm X said the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman, and the most neglected person in America is the black woman, Williams said. This was stated 57 years ago, and sadly, the words still ring true. Our lack of protection, mixed with constant disrespect and neglect, contributes to the little effort in being found when we are missing, she said. Many Americans are subconsciously programmed to view black women and girls as promiscuous, angry, and of little overall value, which leads law enforcement media, and others to reason that there's little need to exhaust the system for someone who others believe lack wholesomeness, said Williams, whose family was endured in its own unsolved disappearance. My Aunt Doll Crooks has been missing since the mid-1980s, and after more than 30 years, it appears she's just another cold case, Williams said. I can't help but wonder if my Aunt Doll had blonde hair and blue eyes while living in an upper-middle-class neighborhood, if there would have been more detective work done to find her, she said. There is a post on Instagram that basically talks about what to do if someone tries to grab you or how to prevent getting kidnapped. And it's sad that we even have to have posts like this, but I figured I'd share just because it does have some very helpful information in there. It could definitely save your life. So I'll read a couple of takes from the post here. So it says, the first thing men look for in a potential victim is hairstyle. They are most likely to go after a woman with a ponytail, a bun, braid, or other hairstyle that can be easily grabbed. They are also likely to go after a woman with long hair. Women with short hair are not common targets. The second thing men look for is clothing that is easy to remove. Typically, they do carry scissors with them to cut clothing, which is fucking disturbing as shit. They also look for women that are using their cell phone or searching around in their bag, just looking distracted and not looking around and checking their surroundings, because they're easy to just run up on. So honestly, when you're walking to your car at night, you know, leaving the grocery store or leaving work or leaving anywhere where you're alone, honestly, you should have somebody escorting you always. But if you happen to be alone and you know, like, you're going directly to your car, do not stop or do anything until you get to your car. And even when you get to your car, make sure you lock the door. But they also have tips about how to get into your car. So it's like, if there's a van parked, or if there's a man or a car parked on your driver's side, get into the car on the passenger side, but look in the back seat first. Like, it's a bunch of like little things that you have to do to make sure that you're being safe. Look in the back seat, look in the passenger seat on the floor. If someone is parked on your driver's side, go around to the other side of your passenger to get in the car, because most of the time when vans are parked beside you, they're wanting to grab you as soon as you're trying to get into your car. So go on the other side. It's better to be paranoid than dead. So the number one place that women are abducted from are grocery store parking lots or parking garages. They're also abducted from public restrooms. So as soon as a woman gets snatched, the next move for the guy is to take her to a place where he won't get caught with her. So as soon as you get snatched, you need to be trying to run away immediately, because you don't want to get to that second destination where it will be even harder for you to get away. So it says if you put up any kind of fight at all, they get discouraged because it takes a minute or two for them to realize that going after you is not worth it, and then they'll leave you alone. It's time consuming. These men said that they do not try to pick up women with umbrellas or anything that can be used as a weapon. Personally, me, I keep a knife with me all the time. I wish I was one of those hard ass bitches that like carried a razor in their mouth or something, because that shit could come in handy. You look like you ain't got nothing to fight yourself with, and then all of a sudden you got a razor out your mouth and you slashing a nigga across the face. Yeah. And then somebody said that keys are not a deterrent because you have to get really close in order to use them on your attacker. So they're not really scared of that. They're still going to come after you. But they do say that if you hold out your pepper spray and you say, stop, stay back, I have pepper spray, that is a deterrent. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know how it would work, but I will definitely be more than willing to try it if that means that it's going to save my life. Oh, also very important, if somebody is following you or like being creepy and like y'all are the only two people in a parking lot or a parking garage, make conversation with them and look them in the eye. That way that, you know, if something happens, you could identify them in a lineup. Or make a description of their face to authorities. But, you know, ask them like, oh, I can't believe it's so cold out here. Or what a beautiful night, isn't it? Or like, whoo, I'm really tired, ready to get home. You know, just something to let them know that you're aware of their presence and you're not just gonna roll up on me, homie. Not today. Okay, so if someone grabs you, you may not be strong enough to fight them, but you can outsmart them and hurt them really badly anyways. So they say that you pinch really, really hard right underneath the like armpit. area. Pinch them really hard right here, and also in the upper middle, like upper inner thigh area. That really fucking hurts, and you could definitely, you know, get somebody off of you that way. Also, always go for the groin. Always go for the nuts. Always go for the nuts. Your elbow is the sharpest point on your body, so use that motherfucker as much as you can. In the nose, in the nuts, in the gut, anywhere you can. Just use them elbows. Boy, I be fighting. Ooh, I'm not finna get me. I don't know. I would use my fingers too to gouge people's eyeballs out, y'all. I don't play. I fight for my fucking life. Like, I'll kill a nigga with my bare hands. I don't care. Also, this may sound like common sense, but if you're ever thrown into the back of a car, kick the tail light out and wave. If, you know, somebody ever comes to attack you and ask you for your purse or your wallet, don't hand it to him. More than likely, he cares about your wallet or your purse more than he cares about you. So throw the wallet away from you in the opposite direction and then run the other way. Like, whew, there's my wallet. Go chase after it. Fetch, boy, fetch. And then run the other way. Like, do not give that motherfucker a reason to attack you. Give him what he wants, but throw it away from you so you have time to get away. Yes, you should always lock the car after you get into it. Get out of it. But even when you are coming back to your vehicle, always look in the back seat, just to make sure that there's nobody hiding in your car, and also make sure that there's nobody on the passenger side waiting until you unlock your door to get in the passenger side, put their gun to your head and tell you where to go. Do not get in your car without looking on both sides. Also, don't sit in your car and, like, you know, fumble with your checkbook or get on your phone or anything. Drive away immediately, because that's easy for somebody to, like, put their hand through the glass or, you know, break your car window and attack you because you're alone in a parking garage. So always drive away. Don't ever just sit in a parking garage by yourself. If you are sleepy and you need to pull over and sleep while you're doing a road trip, you should always pull into, like, a truck stop or a place where there are people, like a gas station or something. Never on the side of the road or like an empty parking lot. So this may sound wild as hell, but if somebody has a gun and they're trying to shoot you, run. Okay, run. I know it sounds crazy, but run. The chances that he's gonna hit you while you're running with a gun is 4%. Every 4 in 100 shots is made when the target is running, and especially if you run in a zigzag motion. Bitch, get out of there. You have to get away. Run. I know it's scary. You might freeze up and just, like, you know, tense up, but you have to run. Also, women, we are so sympathetic. We are such sweethearts. We are so emotionally driven and emotionally connected to ourselves that we can't help but respond to people's emotions towards us when they need our help or they need us to be sympathetic. If somebody asks you for help with their car, or they need help walking to their car, or they need help and you're by yourself, you can't do it. I'm sorry. I cannot do it. I gotta go. Sorry. Can't do it. Because they could be trying to lure you to a car where another person is going to snatch you in the back of that motherfucker and they go get away with your ass. I'm sorry for all the vulgarity, but it is what it is, and we have to be safe out here. So that's all I'm going to say for this video right now, y'all. There's so much more that can be said, but there's a lot that needs to be done, and I just hope that, you know, these women that are missing are able to find some peace either in this life or the next life. And I hope that if you know anybody that's missing, I really hope that you see that they come home very soon. Yeah, let's keep each other safe out here. Don't let your friends walk home by themselves. Don't let your friends, make sure that you know it takes 2 seconds to tell your friend, hey, I made it home safe. Make sure that you are telling your friends when you leave their houses that you made it home safe. And make sure y'all are following up with your friends if they don't text you back. Like, if they don't text you when they get home in a couple hours, like, yo, you good? You never texted me. Like, make sure y'all follow up with each other. Because that whole text me when you get home safe shit doesn't mean anything if there's no follow-up after that initial statement. So, yeah, just keep each other safe out here. And I love you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe, share this video because it's really important. I feel like I talked about a lot of important things. I love you guys. I will see y'all in the next one. I'm out.